Have you ever felt powerless in love, in friendships, in influence? You gave them everything, yet they slipped away. They didn't obsess over you, they forgot you. But what if I told you? Obsession can be engineered. That desire can be bent to your will if you learn to act like a cold-blooded tactician. Machiavelli knew how. And after this, so will you. Let us begin with the first and most overlooked law of obsession. You must control your emotions, even as you weaponize them. Now listen carefully. Most people are ruled by the tides of their feelings. One moment, they are warm. The next, cold. They laugh too hard, cry too loudly, grow angry too quickly. And in doing so, they reveal a fatal flaw of unpredictability without direction. They are like flags flapping in the wind, blown by passions, guided by nothing. But you must be different. You must become a still lake beneath which the currents swirl only at your command. You must feel, but only when it serves your purpose. Never give in to the impulse to express what you truly feel. Real power lies in knowing your emotions intimately and revealing only what creates desire in others. This is not repression. No, it is orchestration. Think of the ancient actors of the Florentine stage, those who wore masks not to deceive, but to perform. The mask is not a lie, it is a means. And you, if you wish to be obsessed over, must learn to wear emotional masks so convincing, so poetic, that others cannot tell where the performance ends and the real you begins. Because they must never see the real you. They must only see the version of you that captivates them. Understand this: people do not fall in love with raw emotion. They fall in love with the version of you that arouses their emotion. A subtle difference, but a vital one. You must learn to appear vulnerable, while never being so. You may share a story of heartbreak, not to confess, but to evoke their sympathy. You may show frustration, not because you've lost composure, but because you want them to feel protective. Passion, sadness, joy. Each emotion you reveal must be an arrow drawn from your quiver, aimed with surgical precision. Why? Because obsession is not born in the heart. It is born in the imagination. And when you show uncontrolled emotion, when you are angry without calculation or needy without purpose, you destroy the illusion. You become ordinary. And no one obsesses over the ordinary. Now I will teach you something subtle, but ruthless. How to appear passionate while remaining entirely in control. Let us say you are in conversation with the object of your intended obsession. Most people would listen earnestly, waiting to reply, eager to impress. You will do the opposite. You will listen with stillness, eyes steady, as though reading a book you've already memorized. And then, at the exact right moment, you will react, not too quickly, never too strongly. Just enough. Enough to make them think they've touched something hidden within you. You tilt your head. You soften your voice. You let your words drip with a kind of subdued intensity. This is how you simulate passion. This is how you plant a seed inside their mind. A seed that whispers, "This person feels deeply, but only when I speak to them." Now imagine what happens when this seed takes root. They begin to crave that intensity. They wait for it. They seek it. And when you withhold it, just once, they will spiral. They will analyze every word, every silence. They will become obsessed with unlocking you again. And that is your goal. You must present your emotional energy as a rare gift, something not easily given. The fewer emotional responses you offer, the more each one means. Think of a flame. If you let it burn endlessly, it becomes heat. But if it flickers in the dark only now and then, it becomes magic. People stare at it. They try to get close. They wonder if they imagined it. You must become that flicker in the dark. Control also means resisting their provocations. If they test you, insult you, question your worth, remain unmoved. Let them dance in the fire of their own emotions while you remain cold, composed. Your detachment will disturb them. It will intrigue them. It will create a gap, a psychological tension they feel compelled to resolve. And how will they resolve it? By chasing your approval, by craving your attention, by obsessing over you. But remember, coldness alone is not enough. A purely detached person is forgettable. That is why you must season your stillness with flashes of unexpected warmth. A smile, a shared secret, a sudden compliment delivered with unnerving directness. These moments must feel rare, almost accidental. But they are not. They are traps. Sweet, seductive traps. This balance is the art. You are not cold. You are not hot. You are warm only when you choose. Your control makes every gesture meaningful. Every pause charged with electricity. They never know what's coming next, and so they stay watching. People long to feel something real, but only when they believe they've earned it. Give too much, and they devalue you. Give too little, and they give up. But give just enough to keep them guessing, hoping, wondering, and they will never stop thinking about you. Because obsession is not a response to generosity. It is a reaction to unpredictability. It is not the result of being fully understood, but the consequence of being partially revealed. Reveal only fragments. Let them fill in the blanks with fantasy. Let them project onto you their own desires, their hopes, their insecurities, and never correct them. Because once someone begins to fantasize about who you might be, they have already begun to fall under your spell. Obsession starts there, not with the truth, but with the story they tell themselves about you. And you are the author of that story. If you truly wish to be obsessed over, not admired, not liked, but obsessed, you must first master the seductive art of absence. You must learn the exquisite power of not being there. Let others flood the world with their presence. Let them post constantly, speak endlessly, appear everywhere like noise. That is their mistake. Because the more available you are, the less you are valued. And if you are always present, you become like the air, essential perhaps, but unnoticed, forgotten. You, on the other hand, must become rare. Rarity breeds reverence. Scarcity sharpens hunger. It is not your presence that makes others desire you. It is your absence. Controlled, timed, strategic. You must learn to vanish, and yet, not disappear completely. You leave behind a trace, a whisper, a memory, a mystery. Consider how diamonds are formed, not in daylight, not in open air, but deep beneath the earth under silence and pressure. They are hidden, and that is why we desire them. Now think of how most people interact. They reveal too much. They speak too long. They answer too quickly. They offer explanations, apologies, details, endlessly. You will not do this. You will speak in measured phrases. You will answer slowly, even when you already know what to say. You will share only fragments, never the full picture. Because people do not obsess over what they understand. They obsess over what they almost understand. The moment someone believes they've figured you out, the spell begins to fade. But if you remain slightly out of reach, just out of their grasp, their mind will work overtime to decode you. And that is exactly what you want. You want their mind working. You want them thinking about what you meant when you paused, when you left the room, when you didn't reply. You want them analyzing your silences more than your words. You want them wondering, where are you? What are you doing? Who else has your attention? Now listen to this carefully. Presence creates comfort, but absence creates obsession. Your goal is not to comfort them. It is to awaken their longing. You must become like a shadow in their lives. Sometimes near, sometimes gone. A sudden message in the night. A compliment that seems a fan but lingers. A glance that feels accidental but haunts them later. These are the touches that leave bruises on the mind. Do not give everything, especially not your time. Be the one who leaves early, who replies late, who disappears for days. Not to punish, but to provoke. Your absence is not neglect, it is strategy. When they ask where you were, smile, but don't explain. When they ask what you're thinking, say, I'll tell you another time. When they reach out too eagerly, withdraw. Let them feel the space you leave behind. That space will grow into obsession. Because obsession needs room to expand. It does not bloom in certainty. It grows in unanswered questions. There is a fatal urge among the inexperienced to over-communicate, to keep others close by being constantly available. This is desperation, and desperation repels. But distance, when applied with elegance, draws them in. Let me offer you an image. Imagine you are a room with the door slightly ajar. They can see the flicker of candlelight. They can hear the soft sound of something moving inside, but they cannot enter. Not yet. Their curiosity swells. They imagine what's inside. They imagine you. And because they cannot have you all at once, they begin to want you more than anything else. This is what mystery does. It turns you into a riddle, a secret. And people do not forget secrets. In conversation, be the one who listens more than you speak. Ask questions, but don't always answer theirs. Give them pieces of yourself, but never the whole. Make them work for every detail. Make your history feel like something precious. Not because it is, but because you treat it that way. And when you speak of your past, do so with careful restraint. Let them feel that there is more you are not saying. That there are rooms in your mind they may never enter. That there are scars they are not yet worthy to see. Mystery makes you feel important. Scarcity makes you feel priceless. Combine them and you become unforgettable. They will wonder why you didn't open up. Why you didn't stay longer. Why your attention feels like lightning. Brilliant but brief. And each time you vanish, they will wait. Each time you reappear, they will cling to your every word. This is the cycle you must create. Absence and presence. Silence and revelation. Distance and intimacy. A pendulum of emotion that only you control. Never underestimate the power of the unknown. Let others be obvious. Let others explain themselves. You will leave questions unanswered. And in those questions, they will lose sleep. They will replay your words. Study your behavior. Search for clues in your quiet, because the mind cannot obsess over what it already possesses. It only obsesses over what it almost understands, but never fully grasps. And so, to make them obsessed, you must become a puzzle they cannot solve, a flame they cannot hold, a presence that lingers even in your absence. Let us now enter the deepest chamber of control, the place where obsession is no longer a feeling, but a need. Where someone cannot breathe properly until you offer them air. Where their sense of self becomes tied, twisted, and anchored to your approval. You see, the most effective form of dominance is invisible. It does not shout. It does not demand. It whispers, it hides beneath compliments and silence. It seeps into the cracks of someone's insecurity and blooms like a vine. When done correctly, the person will not even realize they are addicted to you. They will believe they are simply drawn to you, curious about you, missing you. But in truth, they are dependent, not on your presence, not on your affection, but on your validation. Understand this, validation is the most addictive substance the human psyche has ever tasted. More than love, more than power. Validation is the mirror we all stare into, hoping to see ourselves as worthy. And if you become the keeper of that mirror, they will chase your gaze like animals begging for scraps. But this is not about being nice. This is not about constant praise or shallow flattery. No, praise is not powerful unless it is rare. Your words must be like sacred coins, given sparingly, with precise timing, and always with calculated intent. Give nothing at first. Let them wonder if you approve of them. Let them perform for it. Then, when they finally offer something of value, an opinion, a story, a gesture, you reward them. Not with enthusiasm, no, with subtle, targeted praise. You look them in the eye. You lower your voice, and you say something simple. I like that, or that's interesting. And then you say no more. Watch what happens. Their entire body shifts. Their attention sharpens. They lean in. They want more. That tiny drop of approval, your approval, becomes the most valuable currency in their world because they didn't know when or if it would come. And now they crave it. This is how it begins. From now on, every move you make must deepen their emotional dependence on your recognition. You become the sun to their sense of worth. You reward when it serves you. You withdraw when it serves you more. If they express a thought that flatters your ego, reward it. If they tell you a secret, tell them you admire their courage. If they make an effort for you, acknowledge it once, then change the subject. And when they try too hard, when they begin to overextend themselves to impress you, say nothing at all. Silence is your scalpel. It cuts cleaner than words. It teaches them your attention is not guaranteed. It must be earned. Soon, they begin to self-edit around you. They start wondering, did I say the right thing? Do they still admire me? What can I do to be seen again? And this is the moment you know it has worked. When they are no longer trying to connect with you, but to impress you. This is where obsession takes root. Not in mutual affection, not in warm exchanges, but in the imbalance. When they need something from you that you can withhold at will. The hunger for validation is especially powerful in those who seem confident. Do not be deceived by boldness or bravado. The proudest often crave approval the most. They just hide it better. And when your validation touches them, unexpectedly, strategically, it cracks their armor. The strongest people, once addicted to your praise, will fall the hardest. But you must never give validation freely. You must not become a dispenser of compliments. That is the role of a fool. You are an architect of addiction. You design every word. You measure every nod. Even your smiles are instruments of control. And your most powerful tool, withdraw, give praise, let them taste it, and then pull away. Let days pass. Let them wonder what they did wrong. Let them spiral. And when they finally seek you out, when they ask questions, seek reassurance. Reach for that thread of connection again. Give them just enough to stop the bleeding. Nothing more. This is not cruelty. This is discipline. This is how kings ruled without lifting swords. This is how lovers kept their partners trembling with anticipation. This is how Machiavelli taught princes to rule hearts as well as minds. Because obsession is born in asymmetry. One gives more, one withholds, and the one who withholds wins. You become their judge, their mirror, their measure of self-worth, and once that happens, they will follow you anywhere. They will cling to your attention like a drowning man clings to driftwood. But do not be deceived into thinking this requires loud gestures or mind games. It is much simpler than that. Say less. Praise rarely. Withdraw often. And always make them wonder what they must do to earn that feeling again. Because obsession, when properly engineered, does not feel like control. It feels like hope, like desire, like possibility. And that illusion that they are chasing something real is the prison you build. One word at a time. One silence at a time. One glance that says everything, then vanishes into mystery. What if I told you that the most magnetic people, the ones who haunt your thoughts, who dominate your fantasies, are not real at all? They are myths, carefully constructed illusions, walking stories stitched together from fragments of truth and fantasy. And that, if you wish to be truly unforgettable, truly obsessed over, then you must become one of them. You must become a myth. A myth is not a lie. It is a curated version of truth, polished, sculpted, designed to evoke emotion, longing, and reverence. And that is exactly what you must offer the world, not yourself, but the idea of you. An idea so potent, so intoxicating, that reality pales in comparison. Ordinary people try to be authentic. They spill their insecurities. They share every detail. They seek connection through transparency. And in doing so, they become clear glass, easily seen through, easily forgotten. You will be stained glass, beautiful, illuminated, but never fully visible. Let them see colors. Let them see light, but never let them see all of you. You must create a version of yourself that speaks to their deepest desires. The protector, the mystery, the muse, the rebel, the intellectual, the wounded soul, the rising star. Whatever they need, you become it. And how do you know what they need? You watch, you listen, you study their language, their reactions, their silences. You absorb their insecurities, their dreams, their doubts. Then you feed it all back to them, but through the lens of you. That is the trick. You are not showing them yourself. You are showing them themselves, reflected in your presence. And they will obsess over you because, in you, they glimpse the person they long to be, or the person they long to be loved by. The myth is not just in what you say. It is in what you do not say. You must become the master of the half-story, the unspoken detail, the open-ended sentence. You must let their imagination do the heavy lifting. Let them write your backstory in their minds. Let them believe you have suffered, triumphed, lost, transcended, without ever confirming it. Because once they begin to imagine your depth, they will never stop digging. Now here's a subtle truth most people overlook. Obsession isn't created by giving people what they want. It's created by hinting at more than they could ever reach. You must always be just beyond their grasp. Close enough to touch, but never fully theirs. You might share a personal anecdote, but only part of it. You might hint at past relationships, but leave their outcomes unexplained. You might show a moment of tenderness, and then harden again, like marble. This unpredictability is essential. A myth must shift shape. The moment they think they've figured you out, you change direction. You become colder, wiser, softer, darker. You reinvent yourself in small, deliberate ways. New interests, new behaviors, new sides of your personality they've never seen. It keeps them hungry. You are not trying to be consistent. You are trying to be legendary, and legends do not make sense. They stir the blood. They defy logic. They remain in memory not because they are understood, but because they are felt. You must give them moments, short, vivid, cinematic moments that burn into their minds. A look held too long. A sentence that doesn't quite make sense. A vulnerability glimpsed and then sealed shut. These fragments accumulate like relics. And soon, they begin to build their own shrine to you. In their mind, you become something more. Something sacred. Something rare. Do not underestimate the power of style. Your myth lives not only in your words but in your silence, your posture, your timing. You walk slower. You speak with gravity. You choose when to smile and when not to. Even the way you dress, the scent you wear, the way you leave a room, it all becomes part of the narrative. You must make them feel like they are in the presence of something unique. Something they do not encounter every day. And when you give them your attention, even briefly, it must feel like the sun breaking through clouds. They must feel chosen, blessed, as if they've been allowed behind the curtain for one fleeting moment. And then the curtain closes again. Because the more they feel they are about to know you, the more desperate they become to truly know you. That desperation is not love. It is obsession, and it will bind them to you far longer than love ever could. You do not offer them reality. You offer elevation. You are the dream just beyond their reach. You are the one who could change everything, if only they could reach a little farther, understand a little deeper, prove themselves a little more. You create a persona with sharp edges and soft shadows, someone they can never quite define, someone they tell stories about to others. They're just different. You had to be there. I don't know what it is about them, but these are the phrases people use when they encounter a myth, when they've fallen under the spell of something that exists half in the world and half in their own minds. And that is the key. Because the moment someone begins to explain you to others, The moment they start crafting narratives around you, the myth is working. The story is growing legs. It walks through their dreams. It speaks in their private thoughts. It follows them when you're gone. You have become more than memory. You have become meaning. So now you understand what they never taught you. What no lover, no mentor, no friend dares to say aloud that obsession is not born by accident. It is not the fruit of kindness or honesty or effort. It is engineered, designed, sculpted like marble from chaos. To make anyone obsessed with you, you must become something more than a person. You must become a presence, a force, a living myth. Control your emotions, but let them feel your fire. Withdraw your presence, but let them ache for your return. Feed them validation, just enough to keep them starving. And above all, never give them the whole truth. Let them dream you into something divine. You are not here to be loved. You are here to be unforgettable, because obsession, real obsession, is not gentle. It is hunger. It is worship. It is madness wrapped in silk. And now, you hold the match. What you ignite is entirely up to you.